for poetry props, and oh, it was going to be Dexter, but no Dexter. I'm so happy to see you guys today. You ready to do some more poems and props and fun and singing and everything? So if you're just joining us and you just happened upon this little snippet here, we've been working on poems from the beginning, and not that you have to, but if you want to, you could go back to the very first episode that we did, and that's when we started learning poems. We started with 3 new poems, and we added a 4th one. So now tucked in our pockets when we do poetry, we should have 4 that are memorized pretty much, or you're still close to getting memorized. We have 2 we're working on this week, which is Dark in Here and Homework Machine. And then Mrs. Colby just likes to present some to you anyway, just so you know what's coming. By the time we're done with our time at home, we have all of April, we have all of May, that's probably like 40 days-ish, I don't know. We'll have a lot of poems tucked in our pockets. So by the time you have summer, you can be doing shows, you could be doing poetry, and when you come in the library, either at the end of this year or next year, we'll be able to have some fun with them. I have a karaoke machine you guys can use. You guys can be dressing up with all these props instead of me, and it's a lot of fun. If you have nothing at your house for props, that's okay too. We use our imagination. We work on our voice, telling a story when we're doing a poem, not galloping along with the words like boring. So our facial expressions, our hands, all those things that we want to work on. So 2 I'm going to do for you today. One is Reginald Clark, which you've heard before, but it's fun to hear him over and over again. And even when we do that, you start to catch on to some of the words up there. So here's Reginald Clark. I'm Reginald Clark, and I'm afraid of the dark, so I always insist on the light on, and my teddy to hug, and my blankie to rub, and my thumbie to suck or to bite on. 3 bedtime stories, 2 trips to the toilet, 2 prayers, and 5 hugs from my mommy. I'm Reginald Clark, and I'm afraid of the dark, so please don't close this book on me. You've heard that one before. Could you do a few words with me this time when we did it? That is a super fun one to do. And you have to kind of have a little scary voice. You could be Regina Clark if you didn't want to be Reginald Clark, whatever you want to do. When you do make-believe and you do acting out and poetry, you can be a girl, you can be a guy, you can be any kind of a character that you want to be and put on. When we do the crocodile's toothache, we have to be 3 characters. So sometimes it's fun to change it up a little bit. One of the other ones we're going to be learning, that's a fun one, we did it once I think, is called Bear in There. And it's about opening the door of your refrigerator, and they call it a Frigidare, but your refrigerator, and there's a polar bear inside there. And he's in your stuff, all inside your refrigerator. So here we go with Bear in There. If you're doing a little show, you can say, hello, my name is Mrs. Colby, and I will be presenting Bear in There. And we're going to walk out pretend we're opening our refrigerator. There's a polar bear in our refrigerator. He likes it because it's cold in there, with his seat in the meat, and his face in the fish, and his big hairy paws in our buttery dish. He's nibbling the noodles. He's munching the rice. He's slurping our sodas. Oh, he's licking our ice. And he lets out a roar when you open that door. And it gives me a scare to know he's in there. That polary bear in our Frigidare. That's a fun one to do too. And you can use all kinds of expression when you notice that he's eating your food. You can say all kinds of things. So let's see. Let me pull a couple out of my pocket today. That might be new ones. Let's see what this one is. They're so tiny. Look at them. I shrunk them and put them on a little paper so I could read them out of my pocket. Squishy touch. Oh, this is a fun one. Everything King Midas touched turned to gold, that lucky fellow. Every single thing I touch turns to raspberry jello. Today I touched the kitchen wall. Squish. I went and punched my brother Paul. Splish. I kissed my mother on the cheek. Gloosh. I kissed my mother on the cheek. I got into my overshoes, sklush. I tried to read the evening news, smush. I tried to comb my wavy hair, slush. I took a dive into the sea, glush. Would you like to shake hands with me? Get it? If you shook hands with them, what would happen? You'd turn to raspberry jello. That's a kind of a fun one to learn too. I've had some kids do that when we do our little poetry show. Let's see what else I pull out. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. This one is kind of a long one to memorize, but it's a fun one to tuck in your pocket and just read. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans, candy the yams and spice the hams, and though her daddy would scream and shout, she simply would not take the garbage out. And so it piled up to the ceilings. Brown bananas, coffee grounds, and potato peelings. Brown bananas, rotten peas, chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window and blocked the door. With bacon rinds and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones, prune pits, peach pits, orange peel, gloppy glumps of cold oatmeal, pizza crusts and withered greens, soggy beans and tangerines, crusts of black burned butter toast, grisly bits of beefy roast. The garbage rolled on down the hall. It raised the roof. It broke the wall. Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum, cellophane from green bologna, rubbery, blubbery macaroni, peanut butter caked and dry, curdled milk and crusts of pie, moldy melons and dried up mustard, eggshells mixed with lemon custard, cold French fries and rancid meat, yellow lumps of cream of wheat. At last the garbage reached so high, it touched the sky, and all the neighbors moved away, and none of her friends would come to play. And finally, Cynthia Sylvia Stout said, "Okay, I'll take the garbage out." But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage reached across the state, from New York to the Golden Gate, and there in the garbage she did hate. Poor Sarah met an awful fate. That I cannot right now relate, because the hour is much too late. But children, always remember Sylvia Stout, and always take the garbage out. You don't want to end up like her. That poem would be, really hard to memorize and do, but it is a super fun one to read. Let's see where I got it from. Well, let's do some that you know that are fun to do. We're still figuring out a way we can maybe get kids on the news to do some of the poems, maybe with Mrs. Choate. We're working on that. So let's do Polish the Stars. Somebody has to go polish the stars. They're looking a little bit dull. Somebody has to go polish the stars, for the eagles and starlings and gulls have all been complaining. They're tarnished and worn. They say they want new ones, but we cannot afford. So please, get your rags and your polishing jars. Somebody has to go polish those stars. Great job. By now, hopefully you're feeling a little bit comfortable with that one, so when we do it, you can just pop up and say it, work on your expression, try doing it different ways. Sounded great to me. All right, how about hot dog? I got my little hot dog over here. I'm going to use my big guy today. I have a hot dog for a pet. It's the only kind my folks would let me get. Oh, he does smell sort of bad, and yet he absolutely never gets the sofa wet. We have a butcher for a vet, the strangest vet you've ever met. I guess we're the weirdest family yet to have a hot dog for a pet. That was fantastic. Good job, great voice. Give yourself a pat on the back. Air high five. Great job doing that, you guys. I'm so impressed. Okay, now let's try treehouse. A treehouse, a free house, a secret you and me house, a high up in the leafy branches, cozy as can be house, a street house, A neat house? And be sure you wipe your feet house. That is not my kind of house at all. Let's go live in a tree house. Fabuloso. That was even better than the other ones. Good job. That's the first one that we started memorizing. I am really impressed. Are you doing shows at home for your family? Or for your sisters and brothers? Or on Zoom for your teacher? You might even want to do one on Zoom for your teacher. Say, hey, I have a poem to do. I bet she would love that. Or he. Gum eyeball. Let's try that one. We'll go through all of them today. Get your shocked face on when you come up to your gumball machine. Let's see, I'll do it over here. There he goes. Here we come walking up. La, 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 get my piece of gum today. Oh, there's an eyeball in the gumball machine. Right there between the red and the green. Looking at me as if to say, you don't need any more gum today. You could even do a voice when you do that part. You don't need any more gum today. You could add something like that in. Now remember, it's important that even though we're pointing at the gumball machine and we see the eyeball in there, we want to make sure our face is toward our audience, so we're saying the words toward our audience. So you can look for a minute, but then always look back. There's an eyeball in the gumball machine, right there between the red and the green. And even though we would want to be looking at it, we want to always make sure we're speaking to our audience whenever we're doing a presentation or a poem or a play or whatever you're doing. Okay, so for our new ones that we're learning this week, let me scooch this up, okay? Put that up there. This is the homework machine. Let me take off my fluffy. And the homework machine is, you've invented it. It's a perfect contraption for all kids everywhere. You're going to get rich. It's so amazing. All kids will want one of these because they can put their homework in and it comes up, put a piece of paper in, and it comes out with your homework on it. So you want to be super excited about it. You want to be selling it to everybody out there. Hey, you're going to want one of these for a mere $10.50. You too could have your homework done with this contraption. So here we go. I don't even see my homework page, so that doesn't matter though, because remember, we can do pretend. Here we go. The homework machine. Oh, the homework machine. The most perfect contraption that's ever been seen. Just put in your homework, drop in a dime, snap on the switch, and in 10 seconds time, your homework comes out. Quick and clean as can be. Ah, here it is. 9 plus 4. And the answer is 3. 3? Oh, me. I guess it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. Fabulous. A couple more days on that and you will have it down packed. Maybe you already do. You might already have it. Good job. Remember, you can make props. You can make a piece of paper hanging on the wall. Doesn't even have to be very big for your homework machine. Homework machines might be like a printer that sits on the top of your desk, so it could just be something small. All right, the last one that we've been working on is called Dark in Here. And this is about a little girl who has been swallowed by a lion at the zoo probably because she got too close. And so now she's down in the lion's stomach with her hand sticking out of his mouth trying to write a message to everybody. I have my karaoke machine on and I have it on echo, so it sounds like I'm deep in the belly of a lion. So say it with me, and remember, we want to have kind of a scared voice because we're in the lion's tummy, and just use your voices when you're doing it. And make sure you hit the word inside. I'm writing these lines from inside a lion. Okay, here I go. Pull out my lion. Got my karaoke machine. And I forgot my pencil, so I'm just going to pretend to have a pencil. And if you don't have a pencil at all, then you're pretending anyway. But if you do it well enough, you can make people believe that you have things in your hand that you don't. Here we go. I'm writing these lines from inside a lion. And it's rather dark in here. So please excuse my handwriting, which may not be too clear. But this afternoon, by the lion's cage, I'm afraid I got too near. So I'm writing these lines from inside a lion, and it's rather dark in here. There you go. How'd you do on that one? Did you use your kind of deep voice, scared voice inside the lion? Punch the word inside. So when you do them at home, now you have 4 that you should have memorized for sure. If you don't, that's okay. You have a bazillion days to do it, the rest of your life to memorize them. But hopefully you're getting 4. Polish the Stars, Treehouse, Gum Eyeball, and Hot Dog. And then when you add these 2 in, you about have enough for a show. So you could make a little playlist of the order that you want to do your poems in, and you can make a little presentation to make your family get a good chuckle, happy smile on days like these when we're all stuck at home and we're looking for something to do. You could be the maker of the great show everybody watches. All right, I hope you had a great time today. I always have a great time meeting with you guys. Can't wait to come back tomorrow. We'll work on some of our old ones. We'll throw in a couple of new ones. We'll practice our 2 for the week, and you will be stuffing poetry into your pockets like crazy. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.